Now I thought I was done with SNEAKO, however he has formally responded and I wanted to give him a fair shake. Once in video form and again in a debate with Charlie. I want to be fair to SNEAKO because he's been complaining that people aren't reacting to his side of the story, saying, not one creator reacted to my response video, not even the people I defended. And I actually agree, SNEAKO's biggest critics should respond. They haven't because it sucks, SNEAKO your video's terrible, but hey, I'll respond out of respect.
I knocked James out with one punch. Yep, he had enough to sandwich for lunch.
SNEAKO opens up the video by trying to point out YouTube's hypocrisy with banning him and not critical. However, it's just the most wild false equivalencies. What he's saying makes zero sense.
These are three things that YouTube promotes on the trending page. Moist Critical playing with and sitting on those. Moist Critical using Satanism and Antichrist in his music videos.
Ready to go, so let's fornicate.
And his rampant gaming addiction. Three things you can't say on YouTube, but you could say on Rumble. The vaccine doesn't. The 2020 election was against Trump, and billionaire pedophiles use wokeness to keep you depressed and poor.
SNEAKO, bro, how are you comparing Charlie's comedy videos to conspiratorial misinformation? They're not at all comparable. I'm insulting everyone's intelligence watching this just having to explain that. One is a joke, and another is a politically sensitive topic that YouTube wants to avoid due to pressure from the media. I actually wish YouTube didn't ban people for conspiracy theories. I'm a free speech kind of guy, but comparing Charlie's dirty music to election fraud, it doesn't even make sense. This is the theme for SNEAKO's defense. He'll respond to criticism by pointing out a completely irrelevant issue and then act like it somehow proves him right. SNEAKO then goes as far as to use the Nashville shooting as a point against Charlie as if Charlie's videos have anything to do with it.
He's playing with dildos in video games. Oh, this is the lie sold to keep you depressed. The world is out there for you to conquer as a man, but the 1% provide us with so many distractions to gatekeep it for themselves. I criticize Moist Critical because he makes millions of dollars selling that lie. For the young men watching, is that the life you want to live at 30 years old? The terrible tragedy that happened in Nashville yesterday is representative of exactly what I talk about in my stream. A trans person shot up a church, and the mainstream news was more focused on misgendering the shooter than addressing the problem.
I'm not even sure what he's trying to say. It's such an incoherent ramble. I think he's trying to tie Charlie playing with dildos into there being trans people. I'm not really sure. Why are you using that as a point? It's just so tone deaf and beyond disrespectful to the victims. SNEAKO then goes on about how Japan is better because they don't support LGBT.
In Japan, there is no wokeness, there is no LGBT trans nonsense, and society is civilized. Somebody spills over their bag and everybody comes to help them out because they see each other as extended family. There's no culture war. There is a life outside of the woke degeneracy, and that's why I will continue to defend the movie Cuties until Moist Critical decides to debate me about it.
I didn't edit it that way, he did. He just talks in run-on sentences. What does Japan not being woke have to do with Cuties or not picking up things that are dropped? I don't know, it's a SNEAKO video. It's SNEAKO logic. He may be speaking English, but he ain't saying shit. He then goes on and on about how he loves the movie Cuties, ranting and defending points that nobody disagrees with.
Nobody who hates the movie Cuties has seen it. It's about an Islamic family that moves from West Africa to France, a woke country that's literally on fire right now, and the daughter of the family gets corrupted by TikTok and starts dancing provocatively and leaves her Islamic values behind. She goes from a good Muslim girl to a degenerate wokey, lying, twerking, and fighting, and it blows up in her face and her family's disappointed, and eventually she reverts back to Islam. I like that movie because I see it as another version of my life.
Yes, I agree. You also act like an 11-year-old girl. Nobody is arguing that the movie's message is what makes it bad. It's the fact that they use real children to depict sexually suggestive content. He just ignores that part and goes on and on about Islam. Charlie has to repeat his point like 10 times before SNEAKO actually addresses him.
So, have you seen the movie?
Yeah, found it just to be completely repulsive.
Haven't you seen a lot of other movies that have repulsed you before? I watch horror movies. I watch movies that are provocative quite a bit.
Yeah, but this is something I feel isn't being recognized. There's a difference between being repulsed by fiction, which is like horror movies, that's not real, and being repulsed because there's real children doing sexual things. You can't fake that. The actresses were 11 to 13 years old. They were twerking. There was some very gross scenes in there, and like the cameras would zoom in on their chest and their ass and their crotch. Like, That's a very different kind of repulse.
Duh, this has always been the argument. But watch Sneako shift it to a completely irrelevant point, derailing the conversation.
That movie was taken out of context quite a bit. People don't really see the moral of the movie, which is defending Islamic values, and also pointing out the very real problem that young girls have going on social media and doing these dances. I agree that it's disgusting. I agree that those scenes are repulsive, but I think you could be repulsed by TikTok and pretty much what young girls are doing on social media every single day as well.
Sneako's not wrong for believing this, but he's also not addressing Charlie's point at all. He does this over and over again. Yeah, Sneako knows he's wrong, so he's adapted the tactic of just talking for as long as possible, hoping Charlie forgets what he was saying. So I'm going to cut this conversation up a bit just to make it a little bit more tolerable. The full video is on his Rumble if you're interested. But trust me, you aren't missing a thing.
I think that people outraged at that film should also be outraged at everything that girls are doing now on Instagram, TikTok, and all these apps.
Well, see, but here's the thing. So let's break it down to the very bare essentials. Can children consent?
Can children consent? No, they can't. We agree.
So then why do you think it's excusable to exploit them after having them sign up for this film? If you admit they can't consent, how can they possibly give the okay to be shaking their ass and having a camera all up in their shit while they're doing sexual things, like that scene where she takes a picture of her vagina, the scene where they're doing literal, like, toying around with cam sites? Like, that's very different.
Sneako then shifts the topic of the conversation again and goes on another random tangent about the message of the film instead of actually engaging with Charlie's point.
Like, no one is disputing the message, right?
It's a mess. I agree with the intention of the movie. I don't think that those scenes are good. That's what we completely agree on. But I think that was an important movie to point out how many people get sucked into this world. I think that was needed. That movie was needed to be made.
We know. You've said this like 3 times already. There's an old clip of Sneako from back when he was a bit more self-reflective that perfectly describes how he talks to people.
When people speak to me, I don't listen. I just wait for my own turn to speak.
He's clearly doing that. Charlie has to reiterate, and I counted 8 times before Sneako finally responds to his point.
Since it still used real children to sexualize them to showcase it. That's the issue. You didn't need it to be children.
I don't think it contributes to it, because when you see girls doing this on TikTok, they don't know.
I don't see girls doing it on TikTok, though, is the thing, right? The only people that would are going to be the pedophiles. They would go and search that out. This movie was advertised on Netflix.
No, that's not true. Every time, I don't have TikTok on my phone, but once in a while before I was banned, I would go on there, and the first 3 videos would be the same thing that you see on Cuties.
Yeah, it's algorithmically based. It shows videos based on your preferences. You're telling on yourself, bro.
Under no circumstances should children be sexualized, is where I stand. Do you disagree?
Bro, come on, this is so easy.
There's a lot of things in movies, like I don't agree with incest in Star Wars, but Star Wars has incest scenes. I don't agree with incest, but it's portrayed.
It's not real incest, though. This is real children being sexualized. It's not fake. These are 11.
I agree. But I'm defending the point of the movie.
You can defend the point of the movie, but you can still condemn the movie itself. The point can stand on its own 2 feet, right? Like, there is a problem, which you recognize, with kids being sexualized, in specific on TikTok. That is a problem in and of itself. But you can still condemn this film for contributing to the thing it's supposed to speak out against, which is sexualizing children, which you have admitted it does. And it didn't need to, like you said. That is the problem.
Maybe they shouldn't have used child actors.
Holy shit, now was that so hard? Charlie deserves a Medal of Honor, because I wouldn't have had the patience for this. It's like talking to a child. 95 IQ, he needs to retake that because he scored too high.
I made out with so many girls. Made out with every girl in the world.
A large majority of the video is just Sneako coping. He doesn't really address anything that anyone says. It's mostly just him making up reasons for why he thinks people hate him.
There is a clear pattern with the people that hate me. I don't say it to be cocky, but I am tall, I'm good looking, and I'm successful.
You look like a lesbian. You literally copied Andrew Tate's haircut.
This is why the #1 criticism is wannabe alpha male Sneako. Oh, this alpha male. It's rooted in jealousy and the idea that masculinity is a bad thing. I don't think I'm an alpha male.
You're not. Where are all these mystery people hating on Sneako because he's tall? I see people hating on you because you're a bully, because you're a hypocrite, because you're a weak little worm. You went after Charlie's girlfriend, told your audience to dig up dirt on Preach's wife, falsely accused Brandon Buckingham of being a rapist, and still deny it to this day.
You made claims of Brandon Buckingham being like a rapist and shit. Wouldn't that be something that you'd want to fight about at that point? Like,
that was not a claim that I made. That was not a claim that I made.
Bro, literally said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend. Yeah. Literally said that. This dude said he is going to R-word my girlfriend. Bro, nothing warrants saying I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend. That's some school vibes, bro. Literally, word for word. I'm going to R-word your girlfriend.
I never said that about him, and that's a lie.
The reason people hate you is because you don't practice what you preach. You're fake. You talk about masculinity, but you haven't manned up to a damn thing.
I promote the ideas of masculinity because it is so desperately needed right now.
A real man takes accountability for when he fucks up. And you have yet to do that. You blame it on everyone but yourself. So no, it's not because you're tall. In fact, I think you got a lot of growing up to do before you tell anybody how to act like a man.
Liberal or Republican, well, if you pick a side, then you're done. You want Trump to grab your pussy, or Bill Clinton to cover you in cum.
Sneako just says a lot of shit where it's like, oh, what do you mean by that?
The powers of Satan are taking over the West in real time, and I hope that everyone watching doesn't contribute to it anymore.
It's like, man, can you elaborate just a little bit more? He just drops that line and ends the video as if anyone knows what he's talking about. Maybe it's about Meta PC and using Code Willy on your pre-built gaming computer. Pretty satanic if you ask me. Link in the description and pinned comment. Another thing is that Sneako spends an unreasonable amount of time unironically defending himself for being a cuck. First, he lies and says that he hasn't done it in 3 years.
Around 3 years ago, when I was 21 years old, I went to a swinger party with one of my girlfriends and joked about how traumatizing it was on a podcast.
It wasn't 3 years ago. It was barely over 1 year ago. He did it days before going on this podcast.
We've been to like 4 of these parties now, and I've never felt the urge to like fuck another bitch. I've been to like, we went to 2 that night, and then we went to 2 like 2 nights ago. Because, okay, the second time, which is 2 days ago, like, it wasn't as bad.
This video is barely over a year old. It just shows how insecure you are about it. Sneako, nobody actually cares what you do in your free time. You were bullying people, so they decide to bully you back. Remember? Bring bullying back.
Bring bullying back. Bullying is necessary.
Sneako then says that it's all our fault that he watched his girlfriend get pounded by another man. In a twist of fate, he blames us for his cucking.
Don't recommend it, and seeing how many people call me a cuck for what I thought was a funny story, you should probably not do the same. I tried the lifestyle that the woke mind virus pushes, and it ends up being what the woke YouTubers try to shame me for. Kind of ironic.
It's not ironic. I don't even think he knows what that word means. Like, who is telling you to get cucked? Don't put that on us. He's literally schizoing out. In fact, if I remember correctly, Sneako was the one trying to indoctrinate people into the cuck life.
But I think it's something everybody should do just to test.
No!
I know. You know what? You know what?
No! He can't even take accountability for going to these sex parties. It's always the mystical woke boogeyman's fault. The Matrix made me a cuck. Shut the fuck up. Another annoying thing is that Sneako acts like Andrew Tate was found innocent because he was released from jail.
What do you think? All the people that were saying that they're guilty all this time, now that they're free, are they going to backpedal their positions? Are they going to apologize? It's pretty funny seeing the fact that they were calling him a trafficker for 4 months straight, and now they've been proven wrong by a judge.
It's actually hilarious, Sneako, because I was just talking about that.
Nobody has been proven wrong. They're just placed under house arrest until the investigation is over and the charges have been filed. The judge didn't clear the Tates of anything. People are so quick to say that he's innocent or that he's guilty, when in reality, nobody knows anything. Just wait until the investigation is complete. Stop being a sheep of the other herd. Sneako then ends the video by saying he forgives us.
I'm officially retiring the soy boy image. I forgive everybody who advocated for my cancellation or made documentaries about me.
Bro, you can't just do that. You can't lie for 10 minutes straight and then end the video with, hey guys, I'm the bigger person. I forgive you. What kind of new gaslighting tactic is this? It's Sneako. Nobody's asking for your forgiveness. Oh, he caught me. He caught me.
Shut the fuck up.
So is there anything I could give Sneako props for? Yes, he did apologize for one thing, and that was going after Charlie's girl.
And I apologize to Moist Critical for showing a picture on stream of you and your girlfriend. That was not very Christ-like. I'm sorry.
Hey, admitting when you're wrong online is hard, and he did do it for that one thing, so props, I guess. I mean, he's still promoting crazy 9/11 conspiracies and thinks Jews are behind everything, but it's a start. This has now been my 4th video on the red pill, and I have to say it is a much bigger rabbit hole than I expected. I have one last big video planned on Fresh and Fit, as well as Pearl, before I loop back to talking about Hassan. So subscribe to the channel, cause this is gonna be good. And shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Zombie Fox, Riveter, Christina Vina, Detective Pika, Paprika, Mac Monkey, Drain Kobex, Bo Blacks, Necro Valley, Stefan Bildman, Abby Blackbird, The Confusing Opinion, Matt Swanson, Eddie Bizzle, Eli, and the Mega Homies, Reynolds Hughes, Hellison, IGP, Jason Johnson, Your Taxi, Latchkey Gothboy, Free Spirit Katie, Lore Reloaded, Papa Gut, Evan Do Things, and Addy Chris. These are the people that allow me to make the videos I want to make without having to worry about YouTube's monetization system. So thank you. Remember to follow me on Twitter, and until next time.
Make America gay again, make America gay as fuck. Cause I'm just trying to meet some dudes and get my penis sucked. And if I could get pregnant, I'd have abortions like every day. Cause if I had a pussy, it'd be so easy to get laid.